Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Monday Midday Chair Yoga. And today, last week we did a really nice focus on the upper body, particularly the neck. This week we're going to focus on the chest and upper back, into the shoulders a little bit. We won't leave the neck behind, but we're going to do all sorts of bits and pieces. We'll see what we have time for. So in our practice today, we will definitely need the use of a belt. We're probably going to do some up and overs. And if you've got a wall handy or a door or something similar, we will probably work at the wall as well. For those of you who haven't got a wall handy while you're watching the video, you can either move your screen to a different room for that part of the practice, or you might just like to watch it and then practice at a handy space that you've got later. So let's begin with just a little seated centering. So on your seat, right, sitting towards the front of your seat so your back is free of the chair back itself, and you're free to press a little into your feet, organize yourself nice and upright, rest your hands wherever they're comfortable, and here simply gazing gently downward or closing your eyes. Take a few moments just to allow your body to find this posture and to step away from all the other things going on in your life. So all your responsibilities, the things that have happened over the weekend, on this morning, just carving out a time and space for your yoga practice and devoting your awareness towards your own sensations, your own feelings, your own body, your own breath. And with that in mind, turning your awareness to your body, feeling the sensations through your body. Notice any areas of stiffness, tension, discomfort. Remembering to work compassionately across those areas as we practice. And then noticing any areas that feel quiet, comfortable, peaceful, at ease. And with your focus on the sense of ease, allow it to move away from the places where you find it into other parts of the body. Like a ripple on a pond. That sense of ease, touching and releasing tensions, maybe softening the forehead, the shoulders, the upper back and chest. You're now turning your awareness to your breath and just noticing the breath that you're breathing in this moment. Notice if you're able to keep the forehead and the jaw and chest soft as you focus on your breath. Whenever you're ready, you can gently begin to deepen your breath. As you exhale, drawing the navel towards the spine to exhale more fully, then soften the belly to breathe into the sides of the body, the back and the chest. Exhaling slow and deep, gently engaging across the navel to exhale completely. Soft in the belly to breathe into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Exhaling long and slow and deep, gently engaging to exhale completely. Breathing deeply into the body to lift the body tall. Expand the breath into all of the spaces. And continue to breathe in this way, just for a few more rounds of breath. Checking that your face remains soft, your jaw also relaxed, shoulders relaxing down. At the end of your next exhalation, gently drawing your chin towards your chest, finding that sense of length across the back of the neck, the shoulders, the shoulder blades. Not forcing the chin down, but just allowing gravity to take it wherever it naturally falls. When you're ready, you can smile to yourself and then raise your head and open your eyes. Awesome stuff. So let's begin the movement part of our practice with a gentle set of shoulder rolls. So we're going to do a little bit of movement sitting down, and then we're going to come up and do quite a lot of our class on our feet. But with most of our upright practice, you can do it sitting down if you prefer. Rolling the shoulders in the opposite direction. Oh, that feels so good. And then we're going to just rest the hands wherever is comfortable and find the body in an upright position. So we want to avoid leaning slightly forwards with the torso. We want to have the chest over the hips. And when we position our head, we want the head over the body without the chin in front of the body, nice and elongated and lifted. And then from here, we're gently going to engage the belly muscles. Allow the shoulders to broaden, the chest to open, the shoulders to fall down. Maybe rest the arms down to the side. And we're just gently going to turn the head to look over the right shoulder and back to the center, and over the left shoulder and back to the center. Let's do 2 more to each side. Trying to return to that upright position every time. 1 more to each side. Not forcing or pressing through any resistance, just noticing where we naturally go to. This time, from that beautiful elongated center, we're going to turn to look over the right shoulder and hold here. And then, if you feel that you haven't met any resistance in the body, you've got a bit more room to move, we can draw the left elbow back and maybe even hold the back of the chair behind you, or perhaps the seat of the chair if you prefer. Try to avoid lifting the left shoulder to do that, but here we can use a little bit of effort into that hand to increase the sense of space we feel across the collarbone on the left side of the body, the left side of the chest. Allowing the body to rest here for a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then relaxing the left arm. We're going to bring the head back to the center. Make any movements that feel good. Maybe a gentle drawing of the shoulders forwards and backwards. Maybe a gentle nod of the head up and down. Coming back to that centered, lifted space and turning to look over the left shoulder. Here, if you feel that you haven't met any resistance, or you've got a bit more room to move, you can draw your right elbow backwards. Maybe that's enough to open that space across the right shoulder collarbone. Maybe you want to grip the chair behind you, holding onto the seat or the chair back, keeping the right shoulder down and back. Use the chair to give you a little bit of extra sense of length if you have room there. Breathe gently, softening the face, the jaw. And when you're ready, you can gently relax that right hand and draw your head back to center. Make any movements with your shoulders that feel good, a little shrugging, little light lift and lower with the chin. And then from center again, we'll do the same thing, but ears to shoulders. So right ear to right shoulder, coming back up to that center spot, left ear to left shoulder. We're just lifting up and then over, having a sense of length in the center before we lean over to the side. This time, as we go to the right side, we're just going to hold there for a moment and notice if you feel that you've met some resistance in the body, don't push any further. But if you've got some more room to move, you can press your left palm towards the floor. And by lengthening the left shoulder down, create a sense of increased space across the left side of the neck. If you still feel that you've got room to move, you can gently lift and lower your chin, as if you were slowly nodding yes, really slow. Keeping your mouth closed. We'll just do one more. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to that sideways neutral spot. Relax the left arm and shoulder. Bring your head back to a neutral spot and just wriggle off any effort. So it's quite common when we're making these small, very precise movements and our focus and awareness is very intense that we feel the effect of that very strongly as we release. If you notice that you've worked a bit too hard, if it feels uncomfortable as you come out, then just step a little bit further back. Try not to push so far or demand so much. From center with that lifted chin, shoulders nice and relaxed, left ear to left shoulder. If you notice you don't have resistance in the body, if you've got more room to move, pressing the right palm towards the floor, letting the right shoulder sit low down, finding that space down the right side of the neck. And if you still feel you've got extra room, you can gently lift and lower your chin. Still bending the left ear towards the left shoulder, slowly nodding yes. Mouth closed if possible. One more up and down. When you're ready, you can allow your head to come back to that neutral sideways position. Relax the right side. Bring your head back to center. Make any movements that feel good, wriggling, rolling, and then we will sit ourselves nice and tall. Take your chin towards your chest and just feeling that gentle sense of length down the back of the neck and across the shoulders. We're smiling. The smile is there, not because we're necessarily super happy. And if you're not super happy, you can put a smile on without feeling the joy inside. I hope you get some joy soon, though. But what we're doing by smiling is relaxing the throat and the chest. And so as you roll up with your gentle smile, take your bottom teeth over your top teeth and lift your chin up. So head is not back, but chin is up. As much space down the front of the throat into the top of the chest, underneath the sides of the jaw as possible. And then gently coming to center, relaxing the mouth back to its normal shape and chin down to chest. One last time. Softening the shoulders, softening the chest, smiling to yourself, and then rolling the head up, bottom teeth over top teeth, and then chin up towards the ceiling, finding that sense of length, openness down the throat. And as you come back to center, relaxing the mouth. And if you want to, you can take another little down or look down or just roll the shoulders or wiggle the jaw from side to side. That's quite a nice one to do as well. Awesome sauce. So we will bring ourselves up into sitting and do standing rather, and do a few more bits and pieces. Let me just pop those blocks out of the way. So to come up to standing, let's do our sit to stand. It's really good for us to practice this always to create little strength in the low body and to maintain that ability to get up from a seated position as we get older. So feet underneath the knees, firm in the belly. Make sure you've got quite a substantial portion of your buttocks and possibly upper thighs on your seat to come back to. And as we reach forward with the hands, we're just floating the hips off the seat, the buttocks off the seat, and then floating back down again. Let's do 4 more like that. Reaching forward, rocking the weight into the feet, firm in those legs, and then reaching back. Reaching forward, finding that squat position, switching on the belly muscles, and reaching back. Reaching forward. and sitting back. This time we're going to come all the way up. So we're reaching forward, weight into the feet, taking our bodies to stand tall and open the arms nice and wide. And if you can, let your hips come forward a little bit, open your chest, maybe look upwards. And we're going to sit all the way back down again, reaching the hands forward. Here, we stick the bottom out behind us and bend at the knees and place our buttocks down again. Let's do 4 more like this. So reaching forward, weight into the feet, press into the legs, stand tall, open wide, maybe let the hips come forward a little, nice and firm in the belly and the buttocks. And then reaching forward, reaching the tailbone in the opposite direction, bending at the knees to sit down again. Reaching forward, floating the buttocks, then pressing into the legs to stand tall, opening wide, lifting the chin, and then reaching forward to reach the tailbone back and sit lightly down. This time we're coming up to stand and we'll be just standing, reaching forward, pressing through the legs to stand tall, opening the front of the body, lifting the chin, and then coming to an upright neutral position, float the arms down to the side, just wriggle the shoulders if they need it, and find yourself upstanding on your feet. Strong, excellent. Okay, guys, I'm just popping my chair to one side so that I can come back to it at a later stage. It's got my belt on it, should I need it. And we've got our feet nice and wide. We'll do some Kati Chakrasana. So a little soft in the knees, firm in the belly, lifting the front of the body long, because that's the part of the body that's often crushed, curved forward and closed. So lifting the front of the body long and then just gently twisting from side to side. To begin with, we're going to try and resist this movement with the hips. So keep the hips pressing, turn towards the front-ish and allow the shoulders and the arms to move. The chest is the part of the body that's making the most movement, I think. The head follows the movement with the chest. You can really use your legs here to help resist that movement. We can maybe feel the sides of the body switching on. Lovely work for the core muscles down the sides of the body. And when you're ready, just freeing your heels, freeing your feet and moving with your twist. So now it's much more relaxed. Maybe you can find an extra softness about the shoulders, the elbows and the fingers, the arms wrapping the body and tapping the body, and let the arms travel away from the body as much as feels comfortable in between those taps. If you wish to, you can add a soft bend in the knees, little bend and twist, bounce and twist. Still thinking about drawing the belly muscles inwards and upwards, maybe touching the opposite shoulder in front of you and the opposite hip behind. And then we're going to move this shape to be more of a diagonal. So to begin with, just sway the hands from side to side. And you can transition quite nicely into this more diagonal shape. So still softening the knees in the center and then reaching 1 foot away from the arms going in the opposite direction. And we're just going to begin with this gentle tap of the toe on the floor, or it might be simply just moving the weight over 1 foot rather than the other. If you can do the tapping, that's great. If you're able to do the tapping, you might move the foot and the hands a little bit behind the body. So you create more of a back bending shape, more openness across the chest, and switch on some of those muscles in the back of the body, across the upper back, the buttocks. And if that feels good, you might float that leg off the ground. So you point the toes backwards and the leg comes off the ground. That might be a step too far. It's okay to bug out at whatever level suits you best. Let's do 3 more to each side. I'm beginning to regret saying 3. I should have said 2, but it's fine. We'll just do 3. And then bringing the feet back to steadiness or towards center. We'll sway the arms back to the center. And when the feet find the floor completely, we can bring ourselves into stillness. standing tall, opening the chest, rolling the shoulder blades back, turning the palms forward, letting the fingertips drop towards the floor, lengthening through the back of the neck, finding this Tadasana position, mountain pose, and taking a couple of deeper breaths, maybe closing the eyes or gazing gently downwards. If you need to, at any stage ever in your practice, take a deep breath in. Sigh out. Maybe one more. Deep breath in. Sighing out. When you're ready, you can bring the palms together at the center of the chest, lifting the chest, chin towards the chest. Give yourself a gentle smile, and when you're ready, raising your head, releasing your hands, opening your eyes, wriggling anything that needs wriggling. Fantastic stuff. So we've done quite a lot of movement there for the shoulders, but I just want to do one or two extra things. So the first thing that I want to do is a little shuggle. So we're going to step forward with the right foot. So we've got the legs a bit staggered, one in front of the other, but still hip width apart. We want to have good weight into our feet. So not all in the toes, not all in the heels, but nice and centered across the feet, little softness in the knees. If you need a different position with the legs, if you need them a bit straighter for knees, if you need to be with the feet more parallel, then that's okay. But if you can, this sort of scissored shape, and we're going to here stick our bottoms out so that we lengthen the tailbone backwards, lift in the belly muscles, and just reach our arms forward so that they're down towards the floor. And then all we're doing is lifting one shoulder and then the other. This dancing shoulder movement, we want to make it a little bit quicker. And it's really loosey-goosey through the arms. And if possible, we might bend a little further forward, but just going to where feels good. So the aim is not to get to the floor necessarily, it's just to come down a little bit. And then we're going to press into the legs to come up a little bit. And then we're going to go down a little bit. Nice and loosey-goosey, nice and firm in the belly. Up a little bit, nice and firm in the legs. Loosey-goosey across the upper back and shoulders, down a little bit, and then back to center to finish. When you finish, standing tall, just noticing the effect of your practice. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. It's really nice for the upper back. We're stepping forward with the left foot this time. Feet are hip width apart, so we're not stepped one behind the other. It's nice and stable. Weight across the whole of the foot, center of the foot nice and strong, soft in the knees. Taking the hips, sticking the tailbone out behind you so you can lift the front of the body, lift in the belly, let the shoulders get really sugary, and just begin with nice and slow movements of the shoulders. Up and down, up and down. And then when you're ready, a little bit quicker, you can lean a little further forward if you like. You can come a little bit higher up. And then two more times. Down with nice loosey-goosey arms, fingers, and up. Nice and firm in the belly and the legs. Down. And very good. And then stepping onto both feet, just taking a moment to maybe roll the shoulders or feel the effects. So hopefully that's loosened off any tension that we created with our previous exercise across the back of the body. We are going to take our belts now. We are going to take our belts and wrap them around our necks, or it might be a scarf that you've got. Let's go. We're going to do a little bit of shoulder movement first. I was getting ahead of myself. So nice stable base, could be seated, could be standing, rolling the left shoulder. And we want to roll it forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. If it feels good to move with the shoulder, you can try moving with your elbow. Same thing. We're making a smoother circle with the elbow, but we're still rolling forward and then opening the chest as we move it back and down. If the elbow feels good, you can move with your whole arm. Good. And if it feels good to move with your whole arm, you might like to firm your belly muscles and the feet into the floor and just allow your body to move with your arm a bit. It's a bit more supportive of the shoulder joint, a little bit more restful after all of our work that we've done so far. Really good. And your head can follow your movement here if it feels comfortable doing that. If not, you can keep your head in one position, just like a ballerina spotting. If you want to give it a bit more welly, you can, just firming the belly and the buttocks to support as much as you need to. Let's do one more in this direction. And when you're ready, your arm can float down to your side, and standing in the center, just noticing the difference between the two sides of the body. When we work slowly and with good focus, we get so much more out of our muscular movements. So you might feel that that's been really quite profound. Fingers crossed. Same thing with the other side. So we're rolling the right shoulder forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. If it feels good with just the shoulder, you can try making elbow circles or circles with your elbow. Don't know if elbow circles is a thing. Super. Trying to make a smoother movement. If that feels good with the elbow, you can use your whole arm. And of course, if it doesn't feel good, go back to one of the previous stages. Stick with just the shoulder, just the elbow, whatever it might be. If it feels good to move with your whole arm, you can press into your feet, firm the center of the body, and allow the rest of your body to move as your arm moves. Much more support for the shoulder joint itself. So some of the muscles that have worked hard to do those more isolated movements now get support from other parts of the body, particularly across the belly, the buttocks. And that means that we can move more and it doesn't feel so rigid and the neck doesn't feel like it's doing something opposite to the rest of the body, which is good. If you wish to, you can give it a little bit more movement here, really switching on the buttocks and the belly for support. Just do what feels right to you in this moment, allowing your head to move with the movement if that is right for you. We'll do just one more. And as you allow your arm to rest down to your side, standing tall, giving yourself a moment. I sometimes find that I get a bit woo just towards the end of that. Not quite dizzy, but you know, in that general direction. It's just as my body's been so moving. So it's nice to find a little bit of stillness and grounding again. If you need to, you can shrug your shoulders to release them a little bit, or you can even draw the shoulders backwards and forwards a little bit. Very good. Now, before we come to using our belts, which I got out way too early, we're going to do one set of movements for the upper back, although lots of what we've done already is working in this area. So arms nice and wide, knees a little soft, bringing the backs of the hands towards each other, chin to chest, reach the fingertips away from each other, scoop the belly in, and then as you stand tall, draw your elbows back, and then reach the arms behind you, turn your palms up, maybe lift your chin a little, doesn't need to be much. Round through the upper back, chin to chest, backs of the hands towards each other, reach the fingertips away, and then standing tall as the elbows come back and reach the arms wide, lifting the chest, turning the palms upwards. Last one, round through the upper back, chin to chest, backs of the arms coming towards each other, scoop the belly in, and then standing tall, elbows back, open the chest, turn the palms up, lift the chin. And from here, coming back to standing upright, just floating the arms down to the sides, giving yourself a little wriggle. And with your neck, any movements that feel good. So it might be a gentle up and down, or it might be some figure of eights, or some just small movements, whatever works for you. Excuse me. Now, while we give our shoulders a little rest, we're going to do some hip movements, just because we can. So hands can come onto the hips, and we're gently going to let the knees bend and do some hip circling. And as we hip circle, we're going to let the body travel with us. So just a little bit of movement through the center of the body there. And I know we've got our belts on. You can always put your belt to one side. I just can't. When you're ready going in the opposite direction, I promise they're not just a smart accessory, and we are going to use them in just a moment, just after this, I promise. Very good. So let's do one more in this direction, then we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to come to center and reach the arms wide, but let the shoulders settle down. So we don't want to lift tension into the shoulders, just soften the arms maybe underneath shoulder height, and then soften the knees, moving the hips in circles, but this time trying to keep the rest of the body still. So obviously, some of the rest of the body moves. You'll feel your weight moving across your feet, your legs are moving, but the upper body nice and still, the space across the chest, the shoulders, the neck, and we'll go the other way as well. So to do this, when we do this, we're training our core muscles. We have to recruit different muscles to do this moving or static. It's a great exercise. We'll do one more in this direction, and then we'll come back to center, lengthen the legs, float the arms down, give ourselves a little shrug with the shoulders, and we're ready to use our belts, which we've been holding on to for some time. So in the course of this class, we alternate between things that are strengthening or engaging of our muscles and things that are lengthening or mobilizing of our muscles and joints. And there isn't really one without the other. So just stretching without strengthening generally isn't helpful. It might even lead to injury. So this is the way we work in yoga, where we do a little bit of both. Often a pose and counter pose is one strengthening, one lengthening. It's good. Okay, so we're going to have our hands down by our sides with the belt just wider than our bodies. And we'll start with a nice soft knee, little firmness in the belly, and we're reaching the arms up to wherever is comfortable, wherever we meet resistance. So at the point where you feel like, oh, I can't go anymore without forcing, we stop. And then we breathe in as we reach the arms away, which lifts the shoulders. And then breathe out as we draw the shoulders back down, and just see if there's a bit more room to move into that space. And then if there is a bit more room, that's fine. If there isn't, widen the hands on the belt. If there's a bit more room, move into that next space, and then breathe in as you lift. Breathe out as you lower. See if there's a bit more room to move into that space. If not, widen your hands on the belt. If there's a bit more room, lift, lower. See if there's a bit more room. Widen your hands when necessary on the belt. And we're working constantly, lifting, lowering, moving. Lifting, lowering, moving. And just using the belt to give you the length that you need to come all the way down behind the body, opening the chest. And as you do come to the bottom of that movement, just let your shoulders relax a little bit. Notice if you've perhaps forced a little bit too quickly or gone a little bit too quickly, and work more gently next time. Then hands even wider on the belt to reach back and up and over in one nice smooth movement. No clunking, no one shoulder and then the other. At the bottom of the movement, again, just giving yourself a little wriggle, and then we'll do it again. So we start from the center, and you might notice that it's slightly easier every time you do it, but maybe it's not, it's okay. So reaching the belt forward, going to the point where you feel that resistance. It is just that little slightly further on than it was on the first round. There we reach up as we breathe in, We reach back and down as we breathe out, shoulders really engaged, and we move the hands to wherever they meet the next bit of resistance. Reaching up, reaching down, seeing if there's a bit more room to move, widening your hands on the belt when there isn't. Reaching up, reaching down, seeing if there's a bit more room to move, widening the hands when there isn't. Reaching up, reaching down, and whenever you're able to, slowly bringing the hands down behind the body. And it's not a competition. There's no prize for being able to do it better than anyone else. You're in your own space. Just move with the body that you've got today. When you get to the bottom, widen your hands, give yourself a little wiggle, and then we can go back up nice and smooth, up and over. Very good. We're going to do, let's do one more. I think 3 is a really good number for this practice. You don't have to do it every day. It's useful to do it a few times a week if you feel that it does something for you. So starting at the bottom, reaching the hands forward, noticing where they get to with the shoulders relaxing down. And yeah, we've got a bit more space still. So breathing in as we reach up, breathing out as we lower, and just see if you've got a bit more space to move into. Widen your hands when you need to, breathing in as you lift, breathing out as you lower, and moving into that space. And then taking as many times as you need to get to the point where you can comfortably relax the arms down behind you all of the way. There's no hurry. There's no prize for getting there first. At the bottom of the movement, give yourself a little wiggle. Widen your hands still further on the belt so that you can make a really nice, sweeping, smooth gesture to bring the arms all the way up and over to the front of the body. And we can dispense with our belts, which we'll put to one side. Chuck mine over there. And then give yourself a little wriggle in any way that feels good. Awesome sauce. So having done this very nice lengthening and opening, let's try a downward dog and see if it feels comfortable or even more comfortable than normal as a result of that practice, which hopefully it will. So we have our hands on the back of the chair. We're lifting in the belly muscles, just stepping the feet a little bit further back. Nice and soft in the knees. We're going to extend the tailbone back behind us and pressing into the hands, just allowing the part of the body between the tailbone and the fingertips to extend, to lengthen. Knees as soft as needed to get that length. You might even sway your hips a little from side to side. You might notice that you're able to get your head between your upper arms. If you are, that's great. If it's slightly higher, that's great too. But try not to let it go below, because that's just hanging the weight of the head on those muscles that we're trying to engage nicely across the upper back. A couple of deep breaths here, feeling that space underneath the arms, maybe really engaging with the arms themselves so that you feel strength across the torso. And then whenever you're ready, looking towards your seat, just walking yourself all the way in to stand upright. And at the top of your movement, give yourself a little wiggle. And you can wiggle anything. You don't need to wiggle the way I wiggle. You can wiggle however you choose. So we are going to come to using our walls now. And you might use, I might demonstrate on this wall and on this wall, where we're going to do a little bit of strength practice first, and then we're going to work with some more passive stretching. Passive stretching is called. So here we want to come to the wall so that when you're facing the wall, whatever it might be, you've got your fingertips on the wall, and then we're going to step just a little further step away and then lean on the wall so that our hands are about chest height and our feet are on the floor. So we've got a little diagonal here. So it's here we can, if your wall is not suitable for this next practice, it's okay to rest out of this. But here we want to maybe come onto our tiptoes a little bit. And we're just going to begin with holding. For those of you who want to give yourself a bit more challenge, you can take your feet even further back, but we want to keep the body in a straight line. So we're extending into the heels a little bit, firm in the belly and the buttocks, and we're pressing the wall away from us, or whatever support you're using. And then we're going to bring the hands towards each other so that they're more centered on the wall. And then with the left arm, we're going to draw the left elbow back and then the arm open and sweep that hand back to the wall. We're going to do that 2 more times. Left elbow back to open the chest, left arm extending, and then sweeping back towards the wall. Last time, left elbow back, left arm extending, and sweeping back towards the wall. I'm just going to move here to give myself a bit of space to do the opposite side. So then in the center, we just spend a moment softening the shoulders down, finding that strength in the body, and then draw the right elbow back, right arm is long, and then sweeping the hand back towards the center, facing the wall. Right elbow back, right arm extended, and then twisting back towards the wall. Last time, right elbow back, right arm extended, and sweeping back towards the wall. And we're going to take a break here by stepping our feet in to stand tall, relaxing the arms down. And if you need to release your wrists, just giving a little roll of the wrists. If you're not familiar with that, just give them a shake out. Or keeping the backs of the hands, then palms of the hands, rolling through the wrists like this. And go the opposite way as well. You can shake out too. It's all good. Aces. Wonderful stuff. So the next thing that we're going to do with the wall is a little press up action on the wall. So this could be done with a chair, but with your chair against the wall, so that you use the chair, but the chair can't go anywhere when you press on it, because you want to be able to put your weight into whatever you're using. So with your little patch of wall, again, we do this fingertip touch on the wall, and then step back and then allow ourselves just to lean towards the wall. And here we're going to have our arms wider than our body. So hands wider than the body, but around about chest or shoulder height. You can come up onto your tiptoes if you want to. And here, all we do is bend the elbows a little, trying to take the elbows down towards the floor, and then lengthen the arms. Bending the elbows a little, and then lengthening the arms. There's no prizes for getting your nose on the wall. In fact, I wouldn't recommend doing that at all. But we're aiming to bend the elbows about halfway and then release. And see if you can manage 5 of these, or if 3 is attainable, 3. If 10 is attainable, 10. Whatever feels good to you. Let's do 1 more for those who are still practicing. Very good. And then again, stepping towards the wall, relaxing the arms down, giving the wrists a little bit of a shake or a wiggle, rolling through the wrists. Awesome stuff, guys. Aces. So we've done quite a lot of opening things. It's good to do a little bit of strengthening here. And a few weeks ago, I recorded a practice of side plank variations using the wall, and you might find that they are useful in this position as well. Okay, or if you've enjoyed that strength and you want to add a few more bits and pieces. So our final practice also with the wall is one of passive opening. So we're going to use the wall to create a little resistance so that we can find a little bit of length. So after our press up action, you might feel engagement across particularly your chest, perhaps the shoulders. And this is just to ease it out. So to do this, we need a little bit of a wider piece of wall. And we're going to start by facing the wall and reaching the left arm out at about shoulder height, a long straight arm. And then as we leave the hand there, we're going to turn to the right and try and keep the left shoulder quite close to the wall as we turn away from that arm. So we end up with a real sense of length across the left side of the chest here. And what we want to avoid is lifting the shoulders. So the shoulders are down. You might even take your hand down a little bit and explore if it feels good to walk your hand down the wall a little, if that changes the position of your stretch to a point that feels good. You might walk your hand up the wall, checking that your shoulder is still down. So just playing with that. And when you get to a point that feels good, where you feel that you can just rest, widening your feet, just relaxing your right arm down, maybe a touch of lift across the belly muscles, and just relax. You don't have to turn your head, excuse me, but if you want to, you can explore how it feels to turn the head more or less, or not at all, to what happens across the chest, the shoulder, sensations in your body. When you're ready to release, you just simply turn slowly back towards the wall. And then we're going to slide that arm down and step away from the wall for a moment just to move anything that needs moving. And what I'd like you to really watch out for are pinching sensations across the joints. So I have hypermobility in my elbows, and that means that when I do this stretch, I need to be careful not to overdo it. So if I really focus on opening here, I might lengthen too much in my elbow, get a little pinching sensation across the elbow joint. So that means too much without enough good alignment, or too much focus on lengthening without using the right muscles. So bear that in mind. Try not so hard on this side. When you're ready, coming to the wall, reaching the right arm out about shoulder height, and just walking yourself to the left as you keep that right shoulder quite close to the wall. And here, playing with the position of the arm, you can walk the fingertips down a little bit. Maybe that is better for you. Walk the fingertips up a little bit. Try not to lift the right shoulder. When you've found the position that works for you, we're widening the feet, just relaxing the left arm down. And then you can play with the position of the head. Maybe turning the head towards the left, maybe keeping it not quite so far or more neutral, even turning towards the wall if you choose. Wherever you get to, soften and holding for a few deep breaths, perhaps a touch of engagement across the belly muscles. And if, like me, you straightened your arm too much on the opposite side, just keeping a little softness in your elbow to prevent that pinching sensation across the joint. Long, deep breaths. And this pose is just like a yin yoga pose that we do on the floor in mat practice, which is called broken wings. When you're ready, you can turn the head towards the wall, turn the body towards the wall, slide the right arm down, step away from the wall for a little shrug of the shoulders. And you might like to move the shoulders backwards and forwards. You might like to bend at the elbows, move in any direction that feels good. You might like to roll your wrists. Sometimes holding the arm straight like this will make wrists sensitive as well. Who knew? So I'm going to show you another variation which you can either do with me today, or if you've had enough, that's okay. But I wanted to give you this option to increase, it's not really an increased challenge, it just takes the opening to a slightly different part of the body. So this is not harder, although I find it more challenging. So in this practice, we do the same thing. We come to the wall, and this time we reach the left arm out, but instead of keeping the arm straight, we bend at the elbow. And you might like to lift your elbow so it's about shoulder height, but just moving in a way that feels good for you. And then we move again in this opposite direction, turning to the right, trying to keep the left shoulder down. You might need to lower the left elbow to do that, trying to keep the left shoulder quite close to the wall. And I find this much more useful for opening the front of my body, but much more challenging. And so much so that it makes me hot doing it. So that my body is like, so softening into this pose. If you wish to do it, if you want to rest out, that's absolutely fine. But again, you can play with the position of your head and the position of your arm on the wall. Maybe holding for one more deep breath. When you're ready, turning towards the wall, we'll go straight to the other side, relaxing that arm down, reaching the right arm out at shoulder height, then bending the elbow, just seeing if it's at a good height for you. You can play with that height once we've turned to the left as well. So as you turn to the left, try to avoid bringing your left shoulder round towards the wall as well. So that's a tendency to do that. If it feels challenging, the left shoulder wants to compensate by making it easier for the right side of the body. So keep the left shoulder moving back behind you as well. You can play with the position of your elbow, maybe up, maybe down. Play with the position of your head, turning it as much as feels comfortable or not. Taking maybe one more deep breath. And then when you're ready, you can gently turn yourself back towards the wall, nice and slowly to release out, arms down by your side. We'll turn away from the wall and we're going to do a forward bend, which can either be done on your chair or with the wall. So stepping your feet slightly further from your wall, leaning back onto it with your bottom. You can bring your feet even further. So my feet are about maybe a foot slightly further away from the wall, 1.5 feet. Your feet might be less far or further if that suits you. So my knees are soft. I've got my pelvis really supported by the wall here, and I can breathe in, take my arms around the body and up. And as I breathe out, bring the hands back down to the thighs and lean forward, pressing my bottom out behind me all of the time, leaning forward over my softened knees, chin towards chest. You don't have to come low, just go to wherever is useful for you. Using the wall to support some of the weight of the body means that you can really let go and the shoulders here, relax the back of the neck. If you wish to, you can do a little bit of that dancing shoulder action that we did earlier in the class, particularly if you're higher up in your pose. If you're further down, you might like to do a little gentle nodding or a gentle shake of the head from side to side. When you're ready to come up, we're going to press into the feet and round up through the spine, tucking the chin to the chest and allowing the spine to find its way to the wall a little bit at a time. And at the top of the movement, I need to take my hair down to get my head against the wall, then rest the head against the wall, turn the palms open, and just gently turn the head from side to side. And then we're ready for relaxation. You can step away from the wall, either pressing yourself up or stepping forward with your feet. Grab anything you need for relaxation, any warm layers or blankets that you may enjoy. And I think I'll just put this to one side. Please excuse me, I'm just going to have a quick swig of water. It's about this time of the day that my voice suddenly decides I've done enough talking, and that's it for now. So if you wish to, you can have blocks underneath the feet. Today it's quite warm. There's just been a little gentle shift towards spring, I think, and it has been very sunny, although it's not right now. So I'm going to just go with this lovely big jumper, which is almost like a blanket in itself. So as you come for relaxation, what we want to do is provide a little rest to all of the parts of the body that have done extra supporting during the class. So sit all the way back into your seat. And as you do that, see if you can find that space across the shoulder blades and the upper back, maybe even just the sides of the body here, feeling supported by the ability to sit back in the chair and just switch off some of that effort. Find a comfortable position for you. Rest the arms wherever is good, and then close the eyes or gaze gently down. Bring your body to stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Repeat 3 more times. A deep breath in, letting all the effort of practice go. Deep breath in, let your muscles begin to relax. Deep breath in and surrender your weight back and down. Allow your breath to fall back into its natural rhythm, falling into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead, feel it soften, spreading. The area around the eyes relaxing. The mouth, tongue, and jaw releasing. Allow the whole of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and relaxing back and down. As the body continues to relax, draw your awareness to the center of your chest. Imagine your breath coming and going from the center of your chest. Feel that gentle fluttering coolness as you breathe in, and warmth of your breath as you breathe out. Imagine here at the center of your chest a soft light. The light is the color of the mother of pearl, a little bit pink, a little silvery gray, a little green. It changes. Every time you breathe in through the center of your chest, that light glows a little brighter. And every time you breathe out, that soft, warm light travels a little further into your body. Each breath in, the prana you draw in energizes that light, brightening it, making it more intense. Each breath out, that soft, warm, nurturing light travels to touch other parts of the body a little further away still. Perhaps it's already covering the whole of your torso, your shoulders. With each breath in, we stoke the energy of that light. With each breath out, that light travels a little further, softening, healing, restoring, relaxing every part of the body it touches, until the whole body is filled with this light. The whole body is softened. The whole body is heavy. The whole body is nurtured, restored, and relaxed. begin to draw that light back towards your heart, nice and slowly. Allow the light to recede, but leaving that sense of warmth and softness wherever it has been. Draw the light back to the center of your chest, and you can imagine that light coming back into a room or a cave or a box, somewhere the light can be contained, protected, yet always ready, always available. When you're ready, you might begin to move your fingers and your toes, maybe rolling your wrists and ankles. When you feel ready, you can take a deeper breath in, maybe yawning, maybe stretching the body in any way that feels good, maybe stretching one side and then the other. Maybe rolling the shoulders if that feels good, making movements with the neck if it feels good. When you feel ready, you can draw the palms over the center of your chest. And just know that all of the practices we've done today have been related to the heart chakra. And even when we focus on the physical side of our yoga practice, the feelings of our muscles, the feelings of movement, we still engage with the spiritual and energetic sides of yoga. It is impossible to do one without the other. So today we have focused on the energy of the heart in our relaxation. But you may feel that your heart is more open today. You may feel that you're aware of the nurture and the care that you demonstrate to others. But over the next week, turn this nurturing, caring side of your energy towards yourself, and be sure to remember yourself and to take care of yourself. When you're ready, chin towards your chest, just give yourself a gentle smile, and in your own time, raising your head, opening your eyes, and releasing your hands. I hope you've enjoyed this practice. It's been a great honor to practice with you and to share it with you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.